What's up, guys? Specstar here today with my week 6 battle for UNL, and I'm going up here against Chess, who is probably the last person in the world that I want to lose to, because I have faced him twice recently, and both times he has beat me via the random number generator, and this is a grudge match. I gotta get my revenge here. Hopefully we can do it. Although the way the season's been going, there has been a fair amount of disappointment, so I am prepared mentally somewhat for that possibility. And he has a team here consisting of Crobat, Celesteela, Superior, Uxie, Raticate Alola, and Mega Charizard X. And I've got a team here consisting of Mega Latios. I've got 3 attacks in Roost. The 3 attacks are Thunderbolt, Dragon Pulse, and Psyshock. I've got a Weavile, which is Choice Banded with Brick Break, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard, Knockoff. I've got a Heatran, which is Scarfed with Overheat, Fire Blast, Hidden Power Grass, mainly for Seismitoad, which didn't come, among other things, and Stealth Rock. I've got a Mandibuzz here, which has Knockoff, Taunt, Roost, and Toxic. I've got an Amoonguss, which is specially defensive with Synthesis, Stun Spore, Giga Drain, and Foul Play. And I've got a Piloswine, which is physically defensive for the Charizard, with Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Ice Shard, and Toxic. And I've got dual Stealth Rock on this team, and that's just because I need Piloswine in the back. It's my answer to Charizard, and I don't want to have all that pressure on Piloswine to get the rocks up. I've got basically on this matchup, Weavile looks very promising. He really just cannot switch in on Icicle Crashes at all. Latios can be potentially nice too. I need some chip on some things before I can really do too much, but there's some promise there. And Heatran, his only fire resist is Charizard, and I've got dual rockers, so he may have a hard time switching in on that. And I decide here that I want to lead off with Heatran. It covers Crobat, Celesteela, and Superior, and it gives me a chance to potentially get rocks up early if the lead dictates that. It's also not the end of the world if he leads Uxie, and not that bad if he leads Raticate, so it's basically my safest option. And let's dive right into this. He's going to lead off with Crobat, I'm going to lead off with Heatran. I'll just take this opportunity to get my rocks up. He's going to throw off a U-turn. I calc that. Based on that damage, he's definitely banded as little as it did with the quad resist, so that's very good information for us. Raticate's going to go ahead and crit us with Pursuit while we switch out, and right there I've got a suspicion, because that's no power, that's definitely not Hustle. Now I see Pursuit, so I'm pretty confident he's Assault Vest, especially with me having Mega Latios, and that's just a good bit of intel right off the bat there too. I'm going to switch into my Mandibuzz, just my safest option for this thing regardless of what set it may be. I'm going to click Knockoff, and we will see I was right, it's Assault Vest, and we're actually faster than it. We don't have much speed on Mandibuzz, so he is just completely specially defensive. I'll knock off its item. He's going to bring Crobat in here, and I'm just going to go right into Heatran. And he does defog. I definitely consider that possibility a big part of why I went Heatran. And I'm just going to be able to get my rocks back up. And I would just be able to sit there if he wanted to stay in, which I assumed he wouldn't. He goes Raticate. Again, I'm going to go Mandibuzz. He can U-turn, but he's got rocks up, so he's not loving the switching around too much. He'll bring out Steela. I have Taunt on my Mandibuzz, and I have a little bit of speed on it in case he tried to creep us. So I do get the Taunt, and I do stop his Leech Seed, which was expected. Here I'm just going to throw off another Knockoff. It's pretty free. He actually goes into Uxie, and he's not Colbur Berry, so he lets me take a chunk off of it and knock off his leftovers. Clearly he really wants to get up his rocks, and I can't blame him too much there. I'm going to go Weavile just to make sure that I can punish him as much as possible for setting up those rocks. and I will claim a KO with knockoff. So the Uxie's down there, and we both have rocks. We do both have rocks, but that I think he has to defog. I still think that he's got a Charizard, so his rocks don't matter nearly as much as my rocks do, so that's perfectly fine with me. He's going to bring out his Crobat here, and I'm just going to go out in my Heatran. If he wants to defog again, it covers that, or if he wants to attack. He's going to throw off a Brave Bird, and now my Tran is dead on its next rock switching, but he does not have a great answer to my Fire Blast. He was Raticate here. I know he's going to throw off a Sucker Punch, so I just saved my Heatran as Death Fodder to bring in my Mandibuzz. Could have been a little tricky of a position if he went U-turn, but I'm so sure he was going to go for Sucker Punch since he hasn't revealed it yet. And I'm just going to click Knockoff again. It remains a free click. He'll U-turn out. I worry a little bit about Mandibuzz's health here. It's got chipped down a little bit. He goes Superior. I'm a little bit worried about it potentially being Sub or Seeds, and Mandibuzz kind of lets it set up a little bit, so I'm just going to sack my Heatran here, and he's actually going to go Celesteela. So here I'm going to decide to bring out my Latios. I'm going to get some intel on what Steel he is if he leaves it in, and I'm going to throw off a Thunderbolt, and we're going to see that he's definitely got special defense on this thing, so he's going to take it a lot better than I want him to be taking it. Here I'm going to click Thunderbolt again. He goes for the Protect, which is kind of what I figured. Here now I figure that he wants to keep Celesteela healthy. He needs it. It's kind of the one thing he really has that can really do a lot to my team aside from potentially Charizard. So I think he would try to save this, and I'm going to click Dragon Pulse because it covers potentially a Superior play. But he's actually just going to sack off his Raticate, so I guess we'll take those. The big threat is down. He brings back in Crobat, and I'm actually going to go to my Mandibuzz here, and he will defog, and I'm going to be able to get my health back, which is pretty big for Mandibuzz. He did have to do that because of his Charizard, so I did have my chance to get Mandy back in here, and we are back to 100%. He brings in Steela. I know I always beat this thing, I just have to click Taunt. And he actually goes into Crobat. The only thing he has to do any damage is Brave Bird, and that will take it out to Recoil, so I can just click Roost, and I am back at full. Dealing with Mandibuzz for him is a pain. The best thing he has for Mandibuzz is his Superior, frankly, right now. And he brings it out, and I'm just going to throw off a Toxic here. And he does not throw off a Sub, so it's looking very, very promising for us here. I do not want to let Mandy get low, so I'm just going to go into my Amoonguss. Amoonguss can't really touch this, but now he's poisoned, so I'm very safe to leave Amoonguss in. And in case he wanted to save this, I'm actually going to throw off the Stun Spore here, but he's just going to go for another Leaf Storm, which is fine with me. I'm just going to start clicking Synthesis and get this thing up to as good of health as possible. But with this thing at ×4, I'm not going to be gaining too much as it goes down here. And I'm going to be back up just past 80 with my Amoonguss. And he can either bring Zard in or Steela. Neither is too sexy of a situation. If he brings Zard, he's going to put it he's either going to set up and get paralyzed, or he's going to get in a very low range where I can just bring Latios in and get a kill and pretty much clean things up. So he does go into Steela here, which is completely fine with me. I want to get that thing paralyzed. He's not going to be healing up enough because Amoonguss is grass. He's not getting his seeds. So I'm just going to be able to chip this thing down. I need to get it at low health so I can put this game in a position where I can end it. And to do so, I'm just going to click Foul Play. I'm going to keep clicking Foul Play. And he's actually going to burn me with Flamethrower. So he will end up winning this 1v1 because he burns me, which is a little bit of a flashback to our DGVA game where he won by burning me with a Flare Blitz. And I'm not going to put too much thought into saving this Amoonguss. I'm just going to keep clicking Foul Play to get it at as low of a health as possible. And that's going to be at about 59%. And he will get the special defense boost, which is pretty annoying for me, but I know that I have Mandibuzz, which always answers this thing. And we're not going to have too much fun here. I'm going to taunt, and I'm going to click knock off. And I'm going to hit taunt, knock off roost, taunt, knock off roost. And it's actually going to take a little bit longer because he's going to burn me again. So these burns are never going to leave me alone with him. Roost, knock, roost, knock, taunt, roost, knock, taunt, roost, knock, taunt. I just played as safe as possible, roost, knock, taunt, until eventually I'm going to take this thing out right around here. Finally, Mandibuzz slowly but surely does wind up taking down the Steela, and I'm very comfortable to have Zard come in on my Mandibuzz because I will have the Toxic on this thing. And he does not have the sub, so I will be able to throw off the Toxic, and that is pretty much all there is to see here. That is going to basically secure my victory there. I have 2 Ice Shards in the back. I'm going to go here to Piloswine. That way he can't set up too much. My Piloswine's physically defensive. I can take any hit from it. And as you'll see, this Dragon Claw is doing 34%. Piloswine's laughing that off, and Earthquake into Poison into Ice Shard is going to take this thing out, and we are going to get back to 500. We're going to be 3-3, subtract 3 differential. Right after this battle, as of now, basically, I did this not long after because it was the Grudge match. I had to get it recorded enough, and after this, Right now, I'm 1 spot out of playoffs. So after starting out 1-3, I'm right back in the hunt. The person right ahead of me is 3-2. So if they do manage to lose, I'll be right there. And that's good. Now we're starting to get this thing back in the right direction, but we still have a lot of work to do. We've got 2 games left. If we want a shot at the playoffs and our chance to repeat as champion, we basically have to win both of our last 2 games. So I'm going to have to focus, knuckle down, and try to bring my A game in those. And, well, we'll see what happens. I do want to thank you guys for watching, and have yourselves a good night.